Joining us now, podcast hosts CJ Pearson and Ben Ferguson. Hi, guys. Thanks for being on with us.
Good to be here.
Ben, I want to start with you on this. Obviously, a lot to unpack here, but on President Trump's attempt to freeze some of this funding, why should states with active fraud investigations get federal taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, they shouldn't. And I think the question that Ilhan Omar should answer is, give me an area where there isn't fraud happening in Minnesota right now. Ask the governor the same question. Show me any program that you guys get government aid from, federal aid from, where there now is not an accusation or real receipts of fraud. Now, when this started, remember, they said, well, it's just hundreds, it's just millions. Then they said, well, it's all right, maybe tens of millions. Then it was hundreds of millions. We're now into the multiple billions of dollars in fraud. No one in the Democratic Party is saying that someone should go to jail for this, saying, well, there should be accountability. You heard the mayor, they're like, yeah, we know there's fraud, but, you know, where are the people that are going to jail? And Ilhan Omar's like, this is a waste of time. So I go back to the basics. Show me any part of the government that has not been compromised. And unfortunately, this seems to be in the Somali community. They are willing to steal from every aspect of the taxpayer and from every part of the federal government. And so I go back to the basics of accountability here. As a taxpayer, you should be outraged that billions of your dollars were lost. And they went to people that were then taking it out of the country, going to a terrorist organization, Al-Shabaab. If you are not angry over that, then something's wrong with you as a person, or either you're in on it, one of the two.
So, CJ, the state, Minnesota wants to get DHS out of the state, okay? They don't want them operating there anymore. It strikes me that if DHS isn't there, you're going to have a lot of people in Minnesota who I think most Minnesotans don't want there. People who have committed sodomy and sexual assault and rape. These are illegal immigrants in the state who have committed those crimes, and they're the ones that ICE and Border Patrol are targeting. CJ, there's a lot of Minnesotans out there, not the ones you hear on TV, who would very much like these operations to be as successful as possible.
No, you're exactly right, because the people in blue states and red states, they all share the same commonality. They want to live in safety and not have to walk outside their home and be violated by someone who has no place in this country to begin with, right? But what's interesting to me about these comments made by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and some of his other colleagues now is I remember when this first started, they were saying that it was racist to point out that there was any fraud, that it was racist for Nick Shirley to be a 23-year-old YouTuber and go out there and ask these questions. But now they're saying, oh, wait, the fraud is real, but we don't like that President Trump is not going to allow it to happen. He's not going to allow these individuals to use and abuse our taxpayer dollars to fund God knows what, and we see no product of those funds at all. No, that is not going to be allowed to happen in these United States, whether it's a blue state or red state or purple state. And the fact that they are so scared of accountability says a lot. There is a dead cat at the end of this line, and Pam Bondi and the DOJ, I hope they do not stop until they find it.
You know, Ben, I want to get you on this as well, because celebrities were strutting the Golden Globes red carpet last night wearing Be Good and Ice Out pins in protest of ICE. Here's what Border Patrol Chief Greg Bombino had to say about it.
You know, where are the pins for Jacqueline Nungare, Molly Tibbetts, Kate Steinle, Officer Singh, Miss Marin, and all those other individuals that were killed, maimed, and raped by illegal aliens? And what about the angel moms? How about an angel mom pin? They never seem to talk about that. I've got a problem with that.
I've got a problem with it too, Ben. But so now anti-ICE is all the rage in Hollywood?
Yeah. Look, I tell my kids all the time, if you're like Hollywood, I haven't done my job, right? Hollywood is the same group of people that have protected pedophiles for years in their industry. Hollywood is the same group of people that have gone out there and tried to completely change our country. With transgenderism has been their obsession for years in movies, and that has moved into sports. And we're seeing that at the Supreme Court tomorrow, a major case on that. If Hollywood is telling you that ICE is bad, you know they're good and they're doing an amazing job. Hollywood is almost always on the wrong side of the issue. And they protect, by the way, among them, the worst of the worst. We have a long list of their crimes in Hollywood, and they love showering those people with great accolades until they go to jail. So I look at this as another example of Hollywood, again, completely out of touch with the American people. They don't care about the victims of crimes that are being committed. They don't care about the people that are being arrested and what they have done, because they're all about power. And where do they get their power? They get their power from the radical left. They're one and the same. This is Hollywood saying we got to protect each other at all costs.
CJ, just last 10 seconds. Final thought on this one.
Yeah, I think it's simple. If these people care so much about illegal aliens, let them into your mansions in Hollywood Hills. I guarantee you they
there you
won't.
go.
Amen.
Because they certainly have it.
I just want to add, Ben, I think you're raising your kids right there. So you're doing a good job, my friend.
Doing my best.
You're doing a good job. All right, CJ Pearson, Ben Ferguson, thank you both. We
Thanks,
appreciate
fellas.
it.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.